Hey guys, and welcome to my video today, and I'm going to do a quick nail care routine. A few of you have requested it, and I honestly don't do that much, but I thought I need to do my nails because they're looking a bit of a state now, so I thought I'll just film a quick video and just show you what I do. So yes, I've got this manicure on at the moment, which you can see it's got quite a bit of tip wear now, and it's actually growing out quite a bit here, so at the cuticles. But this has lasted 2.5 weeks, so I think it's done really well. And this is by Cuticle, and it's called Tax Haven. And I fancy a completely different colour instead. But I feel a little bit of a fraud doing this just because I'm just an average nail person and I'm sure I do lots of things wrong. So yeah, if I do anything wrong, it's just the way that I do things. So yeah, please excuse that. But I fancy a completely different colour today. So I'm going to go for this Mooncap polish, which is called Mermaid Bait. So yeah, this one looks really shifty. So I'm looking forward to giving this one a go. So the first thing I do is I just get out everything that I need, and I normally have this little bag. It's a little peely bag from Cuticle, and in here I keep my base coats, my top coats, my nail brush, and I also use these lint-free wipes for removing nail polish. I find these better than cotton wool, especially if I'm going to be painting my nails the same day, because sometimes with cotton wool you end up with little strands and fibres in your nail, so I do prefer these. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go and remove this nail polish using this acetone and the lint-free wipes. So I will be back when that's done, and be prepared for stained nails. Okay, so I'm back now. So I've taken off all the old polish, and yes, you can see how stained my nails are. It doesn't actually bother me though, because I know I'm just going to put another polish over the top. And also I know that if I want to go back to my natural nails again, they'd easily grow out, so it's not a problem for me. But if you've ever seen some of my earlier Lush demos and things like that, you'll see I had lovely white clean nails because I never used to wear nail polish. So this is what happens when you wear nail polish. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to file my nails with this glass nail file, and I always used to use the emery ones, and I recently got this as part of a Cuticle collection, and I really like it. It files down your nails so much quicker, and you get a better finish as well. You get a finer finish. Okay, so I'm back and I have trimmed them all down now, and then I have thoroughly washed my hands as well to get rid of all the dust. And what I would normally do is I would normally put hand cream on overnight, just because acetone is really drying on the skin, and also I like to get the hand cream into my nail beds as well. So I would normally slather on lots of this. This is my favourite hand cream that I've been using for years, and this is the Body Shop coconut hand cream. And I put this on every night before I go to bed, and then I put it on during the day as well, a few times during the day. And bearing in mind that I used to be a veterinary nurse in a busy hospital, and we had to wash our hands in between every single patient. So yeah, my hands were always getting wet, but I've always been lucky with my nails. The rest of me is falling apart, but my nails were always actually in really good condition. And they're quite tough as well, luckily. And then this is the nail file that I used to use, so it's just a standard emery one. But for the purpose of this video, and also because I've got something going on tomorrow, I'm actually going to paint my nails today without leaving them bare overnight. So what I do is I get everything out ready. So I've got my base coats, I've got my polish that I'm going to be using, and I've got the top coat all ready as well, because the last thing you want to be doing when you're doing your nails is getting things out of boxes and then you go and knock your nail and damage your polish. And then I also use this cleanup brush as well. So this cleanup brush has got quite a fine tip, and that's really good, so if you go onto your skin or into your cuticles you can use that to wipe it away. Now the item here that I would highly recommend if you don't have one is this mat. I use this mat now whenever I do my nails. Before this I used to use like sheets of newspaper or paper towel or something like this, but now I use this. I love the size of it. If you spill anything on it, it doesn't soak through. If you put nail polish on it, you can just scrape it off And also you can actually mix polish on here and even make decals. I mean, that's far too advanced for me, but if you wanted to do that, then you could do that with this mat. And it's quite a reasonable price as well, so I would recommend getting a mat like this from either Cuticle, or I don't know if other brands do it, but I really like this one, so I'm really glad I got it. And I do have cuticle sticks, but I don't use them, so I've never used them before. So I'm really sorry if you're thinking, oh my God, sort out your cuticles. But yeah, I just never use them. And to paint my nails, what I do is I always paint my dominant hand first. So I always start with this hand first, and I rest my hand on the table so that you don't end up shaking. Or I used to paint my hands like up like this, but now I can't do it anymore. I have to have my hand laying flat. So yeah, and it with this Orly Bonder base coat, actually it's really fast. And at the moment I'm sticking to one base coat. I'm testing this one out to see if it avoids staining, because I was jumping in between base coats, and I want to stick to one just to see which one stops the staining. And this base coat is actually quite tacky, so it's really good to get polish to adhere to it. And it depends on the polish I was going to use actually as to what base coat I would use. So if I was going to be using a glitter polish, I would put on a peely base coat first and then a coat like this over the top, because glitters are notoriously difficult to get off. But if I was going to be using a multi-chrome polish, then I would probably use a smoothing base coat as well. And the reason I'm going for this polish is I like watching Kelly Marissa doing her nails, and this is her favourite base coat, so I thought I'm going to give this one a go and see if it avoids so much staining. If you've seen some of my previous videos, you'll see that I was swatching all different colours on my hands, and I was using different base coats. I didn't know what was staying in my nails and what wasn't. So at the moment, I'm going to keep using this until this is finished. So this is the Orly Bonder, and it says it's a rubberized base coat. And this actually dries really quickly. It dries within 5 minutes. So this hand already, I don't know if you can see on my nails there, it's already gone a bit matte, so it's already dried there. So yeah, it dries really fast. And because the polish I'm going to be using is, I think it's going to be quite sheer, what I might do is I might use some of this smoothing base coat as well, because this sort of acts as a blurring base coat, especially if you've got staining on your nails. So same thing again, I'm just painting my dominant hand first, and I'll show you in a second, but you can see this gives the nails a little bit of a milky appearance, so it does help to hide the stains a little bit. It would just help because I'm putting quite a pale colour on top. And if possible, try and avoid getting any on your skin, and if you do make a mess, just clean it away with a clean-up brush or use an orange stick or whatever you've got handy really. It's getting quite difficult to get down to the bottom of this bottle now because it's running quite low. So if you can see the difference, so these ones are a bit more of a milky colour and this one is definitely more yellow, so it does make a difference. And I personally get on really well with the base coats from Hollow Taco, from Mooncat and Orly, so none of them irritate me. I have tried some other brands and they've irritated me, so I haven't been able to use them. I'm just very sensitive when it comes to certain smells, so I'm really glad I've found some brands that don't irritate me. So I'm just going to let this dry properly and I will be back again. And before I use a base coat or a top coat for that matter, I don't tend to shake them because otherwise you get bubbles. I just tend to agitate them or roll them slightly. So when it comes to the actual polish itself, I do actually shake this, especially if it's a magnetic polish, because you want the magnetic pigment to move about in the bottle. So make sure you do shake magnetics in particular. And then before I start painting, I just make sure that the brush is on standby. I normally rest it on top of one of these right next to the acetone bottle, just in case I make a little bit of a mess. So don't overload your brush, and then just go as close to the cuticle as you can. Oh, this is really shimmery. And what I tend to do is I tend to wrap the tips as well, because that tends to lock the polish coat in. And there's no rush, you don't need to rush when you're doing it. So there you go, on this little finger here I've just gone on the skin a little bit, so I'm just going to wipe it away before it dries and then wipe it onto the pad. Yeah, I think that's fine. And once again, just rest your hand to, it just helps you to stop shaking and moving around so much. I do like the Mooncat brushes actually. So I'm just going to continue like this and then I will come back to you because I don't want to bore you to death with me painting my nails. Right, so I'm back. So I've just put on 3 coats of this mermaid base and it is really shimmery. So it goes from like a very pale green to a blue and then a pink at certain angles, and once again it changes in different lighting. So I like polishes like this. And I didn't make too much of a mess, so I didn't need to use my clean-up brush too much this time. And I brought this box in as another little tip for painting your thumbs. So if you find it quite difficult to tilt your hand in the right position, sometimes I'll put my hand on the edge of a work surface with this mat over the top, or you could just use a box and then your thumb is flat for you to paint. And then obviously allow enough time to dry between each coat because you don't want to end up dragging your polish either. So I have stopped filming and started filming again quite a few times, so I haven't filmed in quick succession just to allow each coat to dry. So I've already rolled this bottle, so now I'm going to start putting this top coat on. And I always use a top coat now. I never used to because I was using some top coats which I think irritated me once again. But I find I don't get irritated by the Mooncat one, which is, this one is called the Speed Demon top coat, and it really is a speed demon. It dries really fast. And I also use the Holo Taco Glossy Taco as well. So I'm just finishing off this bottle before I start anything else, because once you start going through a bottle it starts to dry up, so you don't want too many half-started bottles on the go. So just for ease I'm just going to leave the box here for now, and then when I paint this over the top I just glide it over the top, and then once again I wrap the tip of the nail to hold it in place, because then you'll find that your manicure will last longer. And once again, don't put too much on the brush because you don't want to flood your cuticles and get top coat everywhere. So I'll continue doing these and then I will come back to you again. So very quickly, here you go, if you do the thumb on the corner of the box or the corner of a work surface, then yeah, it's much easier to reach without having to twist your thumb around. So my top coat has now dried, and I would recommend using a top coat because it helps to protect your polish underneath. It makes your polish dry faster so you don't end up with indentations and things like that in your polish. So I recommend using a top coat. I really like the Speed Demon Mooncat one and the Holo Taco one. I haven't tried one by Orly yet, so I've got enough to use up before I buy anything else. And it's too early at the moment for me to put any moisture on my hands. I just want to make sure that this polish is completely dry before I put hand cream on. So in about half an hour or so I'm probably just going to cover my hands in hand cream because I just find that the acetone really dries out my skin anyway, and also this will help around the cuticle area. Now this is another product that I bought towards the end of last year, and this is the Holo Taco Cuticle Oil. So I've got this to use. I'm really bad, I just keep forgetting to do it, so I just find it so much easier putting hand cream on. But I think what I might do is I might use this on one hand. This has got jojoba oil in and it is unscented, so I really like that. And it comes with this brush tip, so it's very good for application. And then I've also got this nail elixir from Mooncat to try. So I might try this on the opposite hand and just see which one suits me better. And then I can feed back to you guys. Okay, so now I've got some tips and things that I do to protect your nails. So don't use your nails as tools. I used to be a nightmare, and I used to use my nails whilst I was decorating to scrape off paint, scrape off labels, all sorts. But I'm lucky because my nails are quite tough. But if you have fragile nails, try and avoid using your nails as tools. So for example, even opening up polish boxes, use something else to open up the box. So yes, this is a nail elixir and it comes in a normal polish bottle so you can apply it with a brush. So yeah, I'm really interested to see what this is like. So I'll use one of each product on each hand. And this next item is going to be your friend. If you want to protect your nail polish, try and keep your hands out of water as much as you can. So if you're doing the washing up, put some marigold gloves on. If you're doing the cleaning, put some gloves on, because whenever your hands get wet, you're risking your nail polish getting damaged or chipping or coming away. And even when I take a bath, I run the bath, I get in the bath, but then I keep my hands as much as possible on the side of the bath so I don't keep them under the water, just so that the polish doesn't get wrecked. And try not to sit there and pick at your polish as well. Stop fiddling about with your fingers. Try to stop biting your nails if possible. And some people actually paint their nails to stop them biting, and it does work. So yeah, that's just my top tips. That's what I do for my nail care. But the main thing I do at the moment is I just use lots of hand cream. And yes, this is my favourite one. This is the one that I've been using for years and it seems to work for me. So I've just come back, editing me is back because my other footage was a little bit blurry. So when I use any sort of nail file, I always file towards the centre of my nail. So if I'm filing down this side, I would go that way and then I would go that way. So I wouldn't go back and forth. So it's sort of like going with the grain when you're sanding sort of thing. So yeah, I'd always go that way and then round it off this way, just to let you know in case you don't know that. And yeah, Steve has entered the room, so he's moaning at the moment. So yeah, try doing that if you don't do that already. You may already do that, so I'm just giving you my little tips. And a quick update on Steve. He still has his box from before Christmas. And he is currently sitting on here waiting until it's his dinner time because it's about half an hour to go. So he won't be budging until he gets some food in his bowl, will you, Stevie boy? So let me know if you tried any of these products, particularly these base coats, which top coats you like using, whether you've tried this nail oil or if you've tried the hollow taco one, and also if you've got any tips for me as well, let me know, because as I said, I'm an amateur too, so I just do this as a hobby. But otherwise, I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to check out my other nail polish videos, and hopefully I will catch you on another one.